Hi, everybody, and welcome back for another chapter of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That. And today we will be looking at chapter 86, which is The Unknown is the Home of the Real. And we could say that the known is the home of the false. So this brain is amazing. It's so amazing. Consciousness is amazing. Imagination is amazing. All of the things. Remember, everything you see in reality, in the real world, that has been man-made, started off as a thought. Isn't that amazing? The Burj Khalifa, the Eiffel Tower, the pyramids in Egypt, everything started as a thought, as an image, as a vision. Maybe an image of inspiration. I will create this image I see in my mind. And the mind, the brain, does the same thing with the personal self, the ego, the fictional self, the conceptual self. We have an image of ourselves. And that's neither right or wrong. It's just how it is. It's just what the brain does. So it's a very simple question. Am I the image in my brain? Am I just an image in my brain? Am I this conceptual self, this image I have of myself? And what is this image based on? It's based on memories of the past, what I have done, what I have experienced, how my experience of my life has been thus far. And it's also based on the imagination, which is imagining what the future will be. Who will I become? What will I do in the future? Fantasy. So the past memories and the future fantasies, memory and imagination. These are things that a monkey or an animal perhaps wouldn't have in their brain. They would just be in the now. They wouldn't know about yesterday or tomorrow, just the moment at hand. Ooh, a mango. Yes, maybe you have seen that video from Sadhguru where he speaks about this. So anyways, the unknown is the home of the real. The known is the home of the false. The brain is just creating these images. And as long as you stay here in the conceptual brain, instead of turning back and finding the reality within, the reality that you are, the supreme, the awareness, unless you do that, then there will be a feeling of being bound, a feeling of being contracted, instead of being vast expanse, awareness, emptiness without a self. Nisargadatta says, do you realize how much you are focused on this self-concern? But it's concern for a self that doesn't actually exist. It's only imaginary. So yes, the body, take care of the body. Eat well, live well. Take care of everything that comes into your aura, let's say, your circle. Love that which is. God is this. Love God. Love this. So when people come to you, love them. Don't try to love them. Simply allow love to happen. Allow the connection to happen. Allow help to happen. Both ways. Love, serve, help, be helped, be served. It's all one. It's just the play of consciousness. Who is the guru? And who is the supreme guru? All that happens in your consciousness is your guru. And pure awareness beyond consciousness is the supreme guru. So in consciousness, everything that happens there is a guru. It's teaching you something at the relative level. But the pure awareness, the white screen or white wall, is beyond the consciousness. It is the supreme guru. My guru is Sri Babaji. What is your opinion of him? What a question to ask. The space in Bombay is asked what its opinion is of the space in Pune. Same space. The names differ, but not the space. One space, two different bodies, two different names. So simple. The word Babaji is merely as address. It's an address. It's a location of that space. Who lives under the address? You ask questions when you are in trouble. Inquire who is giving trouble and to whom. Sorry about that paragraph. What a question to ask. The space in Bombay is asked, what is its opinion of the space in Pune? The names differ, but not the space. The word Babaji is merely as address, meaning that you address the individual as Babaji. Hey, Babaji. Who lives under the address? You ask questions when you are in trouble. Inquire who is giving trouble and to whom. I understand everybody is under the obligation to realize. The obligation? You have to realize. You should realize. Is that true? I don't think so. Is it his duty or his destiny? Realization is of the fact that you are not a person. Simple, simple. What are we realizing? What does it mean to be self-realized? We are realizing the fact, the truth that you are not a person. You are not the body. The body is form, but you are formless. You are not the brain, the mind, the concepts, the images. You are the perceiving, I won't even say the perceiver, but the perceiving of everything that's physical and mental. Therefore, it cannot be the duty of the person whose destiny is to disappear. Lovely. Realization is of the fact that you are not a person. Therefore, it cannot be the duty of the person whose destiny it is to disappear. And this is why many people speak about the ego doesn't want to be exposed. The ego doesn't want to die. The ego doesn't want to stop. That's why it's very sneaky. It will always keep the truth at a distance. Its destiny is the duty of him who imagines himself to be the person. Find out who he is, and the imagined person will dissolve. Freedom is from something. What are you to be free from? Obviously, you must be free from the person you take yourself to be, for it is the idea you have of yourself that keeps you in bondage. It is the idea that you have of yourself that keeps you in bondage. Now, I would say it is more than the idea. As Tony Parsons says, this whole thing is also about energy being contracted. So for many of us who have been on this path for many years, we understand that we are not a person, that we are not the body, nothing physical or mental. But sometimes that's not enough. It's helpful. It brings clarity to the mind. It might even bring some relaxation. But that contraction, it's still there. So it's not enough just to change ideas. I am a person. I am not a person. I am the body. I am not the body. These are helpful. This is gaining clarity and, of course, meditating and contemplating upon that which is, we could say, more true. But sometimes it's not enough for the energy to actually relax, dissolve, and disappear. And then what is left? Nothing. Nothing is left. Because this is nothing appearing as everything. What remains? The absolute supreme remains. and the absolute is appearing as the relative. The absolute is the relative. They aren't two. It appears that there are two. Nothing appearing as everything, but nothing is everything. Everything is nothing. The absolute is the relative is the absolute. How is the person removed? By determination. Understand that it must go and wish it to go, want it to go. It shall go if you are earnest about it, if you really want it to go. Somebody, anybody, will tell you that you are pure consciousness, not a body-mind. Accept it as a possibility and investigate it earnestly. You may discover that it is not so, that you are not a person bound in space and time. Think of the difference it would make. So obviously, if this message resonates with you, you will continue the spiritual search. If it doesn't resonate with you, you'll say, this is hogwash. And you'll stop the video, or you put down the book, or whatever it is, or you'll tell that person, be quiet. So if it resonates with you, that's so wonderful, because that's the truth in your heart, let's say, resonating with the truth. The truth always recognizes the truth. And this is any truth. So when people say things to you and it doesn't resonate as truth, as being honest, you feel it. You feel it. It could be something as simple as, hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm okay. But you can tell that they're not being honest with you, because truth has an energy. Truth is energy. Truth is alive, vibrant. We feel it, just like love. I love you. We don't feel that. You can feel love. In fact, it's not about somebody saying, I love you. It's about feeling their energy, feeling their essence as love, or seeing that love being expressed by the way they help you or are compassionate towards you, etc. So you cannot fake anything, ultimately. You can't fool the truth for very long, nor can you be fooled by the truth. That's why these simple little questions are so powerful. What is true? What is true? Don't be asking these questions from a place of fear or paranoia, something like that. It's just it's a meditation. Life becomes a meditation. Is it true? Is it true? When somebody says something to you, does it feel true? Does it feel half true? 70% true? So we become more aware. We become more sensitive. We become more in tune with reality, with truth. And we don't believe things so easily, because as Byron Katie says, we suffer because we believe stressful thoughts. We believe stressful thoughts. And of course, because we believe them, they create more stress, and more suffering. Muji says, or he asks, where does samsara begin? And he says, it begins with the I thought, believing the I to be something personal. I would say that it begins here and it ends here. It's about believing in this abstract, conceptual, imaginary self, this sense of self which is being created by the brain. So all we have to do is question it, and it will loosen its hold on us. And eventually, as Nisargadatta has said, it will dissolve. It will dissolve. And then we will be, as Nisargadatta was saying, noticing without any effort, noticing, I am nothing perceivable and nothing conceivable, but that which makes all perception possible. Awareness, life, the absolute supreme. And then we will find ourselves or find no self and find that peace and that love and that rock solid reality is just our reality now. There's no longer two, Advaita, not two, not even one in a sense, just reality, just reality. If I am not a person, then what am I? Wet cloth looks, feels, smells differently as long as it is wet. When it is dry again, the normal cloth. Water has left it, and who can make out that it was wet? So once it's dry, you realize, in a sense, it was never wet. It was never that extra thing that was laid on top of it. That's the ego. The ego is superimposed onto reality. But after a while, that ego evaporates just like water. It dissolves, and then what is left is reality. And then you can see that that was the only truth, actually, is that you were always that cloth without this extra thing that came after the fact. Your real nature is not like what you appear to be. Give up the idea of being a person. That is all. Give up the idea of being a person. Release it. Let it go. Let God dissolve. Allow the emptiness to be. You need not become what you are anyhow. So, very important. You are not trying to become God. You are not trying to become divine, become awareness. You are not trying to become anything because you are that, always and already. You are that. There is only being, no need for becoming. Pure being, pure being. There is the identity of what you are, and there is the person superimposed on it. All you know is the person, the identity, which is not a person. You do not know, for you never doubted, never asked yourself the crucial question, who am I? The identity is the witness of the person. And sadhana, spiritual practice, consists in shifting the emphasis from the superficial and changeful person to the immutable and ever-present witness awareness. The identity is the witness of the person, and sadhana consists in shifting the emphasis, just shifting the emphasis, the attention given to the superficial, from the superficial and changeful person, the imaginary conceptual self, to the immutable and ever-present witness awareness, emptiness, empty awareness, space-like awareness, vast awareness. This awareness is prior to everything and beyond everything. So once you sense it, once you realize it is you, stay there. Stay as the awareness and let everything else that can come and go, everything that is transient and therefore changing and false, let it simply do its dance and disappear. And what remains is what you have always been and will always be, that which you cannot not be. The absolute supreme. How is it that the question, who am I, attracts me little? I prefer to spend my time in the sweet company of saints. Abiding in your own being is also holy company. If you have no problem of suffering and release from suffering, you will not find the energy and persistence needed for self-inquiry. You cannot manufacture a crisis. It must be genuine and authentic and real. How does a genuine crisis happen? It happens every moment, but you are not alert and aware enough. A shadow on your neighbor's face, the immense and all-pervading sorrow of existence is a constant factor in your life, but you refuse to take notice. You suffer and you see others suffer, but you don't respond. You suffer, I suffer. We see others suffer, but we don't respond. Maybe it's because we don't know what to do. No one to blame, no reason to blame. Suffering is, and sometimes we don't know how to deal with our own suffering, let alone somebody else's suffering. We do our best. We are present for another being. Just being there, really being there, just listening to another's suffering. Just being the presence of love for another, the presence of compassion and understanding, or at least the attempt to understand. To help the other relax. Remember, all work on another is really work on ourselves. There is only one self. That's why it's so important to be able to know yourself, heal yourself, be compassionate to yourself and with yourself. Because if it's not happening here first, most likely it's not going to happen out there with others. So it's about our relationship to suffering itself. Do we acknowledge suffering in ourselves? Are we honest with ourselves? Do we see the suffering that is happening within? Do we acknowledge the suffering in others, in our friends, in family, in society? There is no shortage of suffering in this world. Turn on the TV, watch the news, look at the paper. Pay attention at every moment. Nisargadatta is saying, you can see the suffering. So how do we respond? What you say is true, but what can I do about it? Such indeed is the situation. My helplessness and dullness are a part of it. Good enough. That's good enough. Look at yourself steadily. It is enough. Look, be aware, pay attention to how suffering is created. Either suffering here or suffering in the world made by selfish, greedy decisions not based and rooted in oneness or love. The door that locks you in is also the door that lets you out. The I am is the door. I am is the door because it is the primary falsehood, misunderstanding. Stay at it until it opens. I am, investigate this I am concept. As a matter of fact, it is open. Only you are not at it. You are waiting at the non-existent painted doors which will never open. Wow, great. The I am is always open. I've heard Adyashanti say, you walk through this so-called gate of liberation, and when you look back at the gate, there was never a gate. It is a gateless gate, Of course not. Of course, there's not something physical that we need to walk through. All there is this vast, open, universal space. And you are that. You're not even something, you are not a form or a shape that can even walk through another form and shape. You are the ever-present, eternal, omnipresent, space-like awareness. Many of us were taking drugs at some time to some extent. People told us to take drugs in order to break through into the higher levels of consciousness. Others advised us to have abundant sex for the same purpose. What is your opinion in the matter? No doubt, a drug can affect your brain and can also affect your mind and give you all the strange experiences promised. But what are all the drugs compared to the drug that gave you this most unusual experience of being born and living in sorrow, in fear, in search of happiness, which does not come or does not last? You should inquire into the nature of this drug and find an antidote. Birth, life, death, those three are one process. Find out what has caused them. Before you were born, you were already drugged. What kind of drug was it? You may cure yourself of all diseases, but if you are still under the influence of the primordial drug, of what use are the superficial cures? Yes, I am is the primordial drug, the primordial concept. All of us, every human being can say, I am. But what does that mean? I am this, I am that, or I am pure I amness. I am personal or I am impersonal. I am is the door. I am is the foundation of all experience. I am is first. It is the first concept. Everything else comes after. That's why it's so important to investigate this primordial concept of I am. What does it mean? I am. Who am I? Who is this I? Am I the body? Am I the mind? Am I the five senses? Am I the memory? Am I the imagination? The past? The future? Am I the now? Who am I? What am I? Am I a who? Am I a self? Adyashanti says it's almost impossible for us to imagine ourselves as something other than some sort of self, some sort of contracted, limited self. Even if it's a vast self, it's still a self. But could it be that we are something beyond even the ideas and notions of a self? What would that be? Find out. Find out. Is nothing a self? Is emptiness a self? No self. In the void of Parabrahman, there is no self whatsoever, no identification whatsoever. Emptiness, full to the brim. Emptiness, full to the brim. No self. Looks pretty good. Let's read it. Is it not karma that causes rebirth? You may change the name, but the fact remains. What is the drug which you call karma or destiny? It made you believe yourself to be what you are not. What is it, and can you be free of it? Before you go further, you must accept, at least as a working theory, that you are not what you appear to be, that you are under the influence of a drug, then only will you have the urge and the patience to examine the symptoms and search for their common cause. All that a guru can tell you is, "My dear sir, you are quite mistaken about yourself. You are not the person you think yourself to be." Trust nobody, not even yourself. Search, find out, remove and reject every assumption till you reach the living waters and the rock of truth. Until you are free of the drug, all your religions and sciences, prayers and yogas are of no use to you. For based on a mistake, they strengthen it. But if you stay with the idea that you are not the body, nor the mind, not even their witness, but altogether beyond, your mind will grow in clarity, your desires in purity, your actions in charity. And that inner distillation will take you to another world, a world of truth and fearless love. A world of truth and fearless love. Resist your old habits of feeling and thinking. Keep on telling yourself, "No, not so. It cannot be so. I am not like this. I do not need it. I do not want it." And a day will surely come when the entire structure of error and despair will collapse, and the ground will be free for a new life. After all, you must remember that all your preoccupations with yourself are only in your waking hours and partly in your dreams. In sleep, all else is put aside and forgotten. It shows how little important is your waking life, even to yourself, that merely lying down and closing the eyes can end it. Each time you go to sleep, you do so without the least certainty of waking up, and yet you accept the risk. You accept the risk. Lovely. You end up, it will take you to another world, a world of truth and fearless love. Go to that world right now. Truth, truth, truth. Become a disciple of truth, a lover of truth, and fearless love. Love without fear. Love, even if fear is present, still love. That is how courage is actually cultivated and created. Not by doing things you're not afraid of, by doing things you are afraid of. I am afraid to love. Well, love anyways. And investigate those fears. Why are you afraid? What will actually happen if you love? Will you be rejected or abandoned, or something negative will happen? That can only happen to the false self. We all know it can be painful, but what's the more important thing, to live love or to be trapped by fear? To live love and be free, or to be trapped by your fears? Know the truth, and the truth will set you free, and you will find yourself in a new world, a world of truth and fearless love, a world of truth and fearless love. Satya, prema, satya, prema, prema swarupa, satya swarupa, embodiments of truth and love. Vast, vast, empty space, full of truth, full of reality, full of love. No more desires, no more fears. Only Parabrahman remains. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace peace peace. If you stay with what is true and loving, then you will you will be okay, in a sense. You can never be led astray. What is true? What is loving? Become lovers of truth and love, of wisdom, of intelligence, of creativity, of compassion. You will find your way. You will realize what you are and what you are not. Thank you, Nisargadatta, and thank you, everybody. We'll see you again for another chapter of I Am That.